everyone, and welcome to my new video. This is Road Rash 3, the third video in my Road Rash week, and again this is on the Sega Mega Drive. Now, Road Rash 3 represented quite the big departure for the series. The first thing you notice is that visually the game's gone through a bit of an overhaul. The bike rider, freaking hell, the motorcyclists are considerably better drawn than before. They look quite different than they did in the first two games. There's a lot more detail on the bike riders and also on the bikes themselves. And for the first time, Road Rash went global. So instead of just riding around courses in the US, you go around courses set in different locations around the world. So straight away what this did was it introduced far more variety on the circuits, and there was also far greater level of detail. But most notably was that the difficulty level was increased right from the offset. There were a lot of nice touches in the game as well. Like, there's a circuit that you race on the TT circuit. Well, it tells you it's the TT circuit. I mean, I don't think it's the real TT circuit for a single moment in the UK and the Isle of Man. But one of the nice features of that is that the cars switch sides of the road. So the drivers of the cars now drive on the left-hand side as opposed to the right-hand side, which they do on the other circuits. And it was a really nice... it's not a major thing, but it just showed it was a nice attention to detail that the developers had gone through. I mean, how many times would that have happened? Even today, if the game was made today, I would equally be surprised if they had, flipped over the side of the road that the drivers go on. Simply because a lot of the time they don't even think about that, They just think about more of the graphical representation, and they didn't do that. They actually put that effort in, and that really impressed me. I remember when I played it, I actually got taken out, because normally the trick is to stay on the right hand side of the road for most of the racing, because you're not going to have a head-on collision with a car or a truck or a jeep or whatever if you stay on that side of the road. So I remember being caught out by that the first time I played it. I got caught out by that, and I was like, oh wow, they've actually put the cars, the left-hand side of the road, the left-hand side drive for the UK. So a really sort of small and daft little detail, but I was really impressed by it as well. And as you can see, the different locations, now you're racing in snow. I think this is Germany, if my memory serves me right. And again, it's nice to see that they really put the effort into making the game different, making it worthwhile. They didn't just cop out and go for a really basically updated sequel. They went away and they introduced a lot of things. There's a lot more road hazards now, and like I say, the difficulty, because of that, the difficulty has gone up substantially in this game. And I loved it. I really did love it. I was a bit dubious, I remember, when I got it, because I thought, is this going to be a bit of a rubbishy cop-out? But no, it wasn't. And in fact, they actually beefed up the soundtrack as well. The soundtrack in this game sounds a lot more, should I say, like the soundtrack in the original Road Rash. So yeah, this was absolutely superb. There was something about it as well. It was just a bit more. The sort of gameplay felt a bit more rough and ready as well. And as I say, graphically, it is the best of the three. There's no doubt about that in my mind at all. There's more detail. As you can see, there's more different types of cars on the track. And they're relatively specific to the regions that you're racing in as well, as are the hazards that are on the track too. So yeah, it simply is a fantastic game. technically, again, it's the best in the series in my opinion on the Mega Drive. Obviously, like I say, the original Road Rash holds that sort of special place in my mind because of, like I said in my first video, you know, it was the first Mega Drive game that I did plug in and play. But this one of the three, this one was the best. It just was tougher, had more variety to the tracks. I like the different locations. It made the game feel radically different. Each location felt a lot more different rather than it just being a few variations and a few tweaks here and there. It felt massively different to each of the tracks that you play on. And again, it followed the same rules. As you level up in the game, the courses get longer. You can unlock bikes. You can do modifications and stuff like that. It's really, really good. Really challenging and well worth checking out. It really is well worth checking out. And I kind of touched upon this in my previous video, that it is interesting to see that when they made sequels in the past, they tended to put, I think, considerably more effort into making the games feel worthwhile than they do these days. You look at a lot of sequels these days, especially ones that have annual updates, and Electronic Arts is perhaps as guilty of this as anyone. The improvements tend to be far more incremental, if that noticeable at all. I mean, Call of Duty is guilty of it, the FIFA games are guilty of it. They sort of, every so often they'll have a major upgrade to the series, or what I prefer to call them, a franchise, because that's exactly what they are. They'll have a major upgrade to them, but then it will seem they'll go sort of 3, in some times even 4 years, just doing minor changes. And the big upgrades tend to be when there's a new console that comes out. And I always think that's a bit of a rip-off. I mean, most of the time you could get away with them just being DLC. You could get away with, especially in FIFA, because most of the updates are players and kits and a few stats. Well, that's something that they could very easily do by just having downloadable content, but they don't do that. They want to charge people another 40-45 quid, and so the option to just simply update the game is taken away from people, and if they want the new stuff they have to go out and buy it, which is really unfortunate, but that's just the way it is, isn't it? But back then, back with the Mega Drive, they really did put quite a lot of effort in. So anyway, this is Road Rash 3 on the Sega Mega Drive. It's a brilliant game and well worth checking out. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more Road Rash videos this week.